Hi guys, weekly outlook today on Tuesday, the 7th of January, and welcome back to another interesting year of trading. Volatility, we might see a ton, a heck full of a lot, whatever we want to talk about and what, name it, with Donald Trump taking over Oval Office in the US majority for the, his party, but in general as well, obviously kind of currently the situation in Northern America might be interesting because Justin Trudeau stated that he's going to step down. Obviously, he's not getting further backing from the government in regards to that. We just cite this here from German news website, my old employer, basically, and we shall see on how this is going to affect and impact markets. Leave your comments below the video if you have questions, and obviously, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel not to miss any further updates, which we regularly host. So that's the story actually when it comes to the political decision. Let's jump straight into markets. The dollar is weakening somehow, and that's the interesting story right now. We've seen the market basically trending to lower levels. We've seen the market rising slightly and seen another fall in market motivation, and now we are about to break beyond the resistance line. Let me kind of check out how the market momentum might continue, because the trend lines are kind of quite something important to note. Whether this resistance zone is the important one, we are here on the euro-dollar currency pair based on a daily charting pattern. Upside might now continue. The weekly chart suggests something similar. We still need a fair bit of momentum to higher levels towards that area. If that zone can be broken to the upside, basically if this week is going to, if this week is able to break beyond last week's basic correctional pattern, we might see the upside going to be intact based on long-term charts, and that's the monthly chart. This all doesn't look extremely fruitful when looking in the past 4 months here. The market broke this 50 moving average. That's something which we could and should take into consideration here. The break of the 50 moving average ignited further weakness in this market. And now the market motivation might still start to appreciate somehow. We've seen a lot of falling prices in the currency pair. Euro basically weakening. The pound was obviously weakening as well. The pound is just about ready to break the upside area here. And the pound currently looks kind of quite sweet when it comes to this current market pattern. However, this resistance line, we need to increase it to the upside here and obviously kind of see whether the upside momentum is going to continue. Then we might see that the pound is able to capitalize against the greenback. The Australian dollar is kind of something interesting and important. What are equities doing? S&P 500 and NASDAQ among other markets. Let's observe this market momentum here. Also, same story. The market was fading here and went back to higher levels. However, it looks currently that it looks like the market tested this area, which is basically this falling trend line. We've seen several times that the market was fading again when it started, at least with downside momentum all the time when it retested this zone, and that's exactly how we could see it at the moment, because the market didn't close above the high point with a strong market push. Instead, the market faded again back to lower levels. This might still tell us that the market could go further to higher levels, right? So the bullishness is, don't get me wrong, is kind of still intact here. However, in regards to what it means in regards to the stock market, we could see that there's potentially still further shaky market time ahead. At least we might see a correction here towards the rising trend line. Until then, the cards will and might be reshuffled. That's the story in this market. The Dow Jones, again, as we've examined it also kind of during the Christmas time and throughout New Year, falling similarly. And well, in general, the market momentum doesn't really look extremely positive. The NASDAQ, looks still somewhat intact in terms of positive sentiment, but the NASDAQ printed a beauty of a pin bar candlestick pattern, and this could be one of the signs why caution should be applied, whether the dollar loses some steam or is gearing up momentum again. But we could see Australian dollar potentially showing some shakiness, as I said, right? So it was testing the falling trend line. It was testing it, but retraced quite a bit to the downside. This might mean the Aussie weakens. If the Australian dollar remains rather on the weaker side of things, this is a preview that equities might as well weaken somehow further. So examine this and check it out here. Pin bar candlestick pattern. If this is going to trade, if the market trades below this area here, the blue trend line here, you can draw it yourself in your own charts, and it would be able to break lower there, and then we could see that downside momentum might be a critical situation, a critical part. Back to the dollar index. Now, dollar index has been rising, and that's exactly what we anticipated early on, right? After a break of the high point, we were saying the market might push higher. Exactly that had happened, not that we said to which level this might go. It still looks, to be honest, that the market might extrapolate momentum to the upside. However, could short term, we could see a bit of a correction in this market, as again, the dollar index looks a bit stretched to the upside. It looks a bit that the market momentum now support, right, vice versa, kind of euro dollar currency pair weakening, dollar index obviously reinverse correlation rising. However, the dollar index is currently about ready, it might be about ready to basically also give way here. If this area will be broken, downside might continue. If the market can break again the upside, we could see that further momentum through the recent high points might continue, and upside momentum could be on the cards. I still see caution in this market because the inauguration of Donald Trump is near. The dollar had been gearing up some momentum. Stock markets were rising sharply. Let's move back and look back towards what the NASDAQ, among other markets, were doing, right? When Trump was basically elected, upside potential really caused the NASDAQ moving higher. The S&P 500 was really through the roof as well, moving to higher levels. So again, that might mean that we could see a saturation because the political landscape is not really changing. Everything has been laid out. And no matter what Donald Trump is going to do, the tariffs will eventually, if they kick in at least, harm their own economy as well of some sort. Speaking of the economy, German figures of newly registered cars had been extremely negative, right? So 27, if I'm not wrong, 28% drop compared to that level from last year. Kind of quite negative. That's an overall stake here, which also might kind of give us some important and interesting input because Elon Musk, obviously kind of with his government efficiency, whatever he's going to do, at least at the moment, he's just saying how bad German politicians are, how bad the prime minister and the president is going to act anyway. So sorry guys, but Musk, stay in your country, do your own story over there and just don't harm our country. It's already bad enough in Germany what we all do, so please, we don't need as well your opinions in this case. Anyways, that news aside, what else is interesting? Oil markets are kind of quite interesting because they are starting to fade slightly again off this 50 moving average. That zone is worth a consideration, whether the market can break again to the upside or fail again to lower price levels. That's something which I would definitely take into consideration if you're trading the oil market. Silver, nicely supported because the silver market basically is just about or was ready and was fading off this 50 moving average and has started a bit of a retracement higher or is resuming the upside again. The trend line, my weirdly looking trend line, has been broken to the upside here as well. So that could mean that the upside potential is going to continue with obviously here this silver market moving potentially higher. Gold, vice versa, is the big question. Gold currently looks slightly positive as well, but still we have this bit of a triangle formation, and with gold, I would be rather careful. Gold had done already and had moved already way to higher levels. We need a bigger catalyst in order to basically move this market, according to my opinion here. We need the bigger catalyst in order for this market to break to the upside, or strong weakness. a ton of weakness in the dollar. Dollar weakness obviously would then obviously also be a reason why the gold price might appreciate somehow further. Guys, that's mostly all it takes for the time being. Markets are still in a bit of a winter sleepy period here. Bitcoin secretly, silently, is just taking over still. I see that this pin bar candlestick pattern might cause the markets to weaken further unless we can break the high point here. Technically, we are close by 102, 105 US dollar, 105,000, obviously, sorry. Then the market might break and push back to higher levels. Ether was able so far to move higher as well. If a potential trading opportunity is concerned, I would rather opt for Ether, as the market might just start to break once, twice, 3 times, right? The triple top here. And then we would have a clear target with basically the Ether token here, which would be the all-time high from the past. And now XRP, make or break. This strong pin bar candlestick pattern still would call, at least in regards to trading opportunities and trading patterns, for potential weakness here. The trend line still would somewhat, whether this makes sense or not, would still be intact. We had this, and that's the exact correct pattern here, would be a potentially a interesting zone here. At the moment, the market is breaking slightly higher. A rather safer way in playing would be the break of this month low point, which sits at this area, or basically from a technical point of view, the trading pattern from basically the low from the pin bar candlestick. So that's where the entry opportunity to rather falling prices might be seen, right? So after we've seen this push to the upside, a stronger push, the market kind of really collapsed. Same story happening here, and same story is what we see in regards to this technical pattern for now. Solana looking similarly to what we've seen with Ether. Potentially a break to higher levels might be seen, right? At the moment, the market motivation looking positive. And guys, that's all we see for the time being here. The markets are still in a rather some holiday mode, but we see some bits and pieces popping up. Pound US dollar cable, as in the currency pair, was dropping. Kind of quite a big drop was seen. Simply reason that lower liquidity times kind of would support market volatility to erratically jump. So really secure your positions with the stop loss and take care, obviously, and rather play trades with smaller risk during these uncertain times in still the blend between holiday, Christmas, festive season and the takeoff in New Year 2025. Guys, happy trading. Talk to you soon. See you later. Check it out. See you then. Bye.